Look at us with our mics unmuted.
Oh man, we're just getting the hang of this, Johnny.
Broadcast pros.
All right, we have the draft coming in. Scaling is on blue side once more, and we'll see what they take away. First ban, Samira. There you go. Dinzy did it. He drew the ban, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Darius comes out again. And Seafarens just has not been allowed to play his Rise at all this series, and you can definitely understand why. So Dinzbags going to be aware that Dredgemon coming in the top lane, and we'll see if that affects the Scoop Lord's pick, or if he continues to go with these scaling top laners that really can, pressure in the late game. Lilia banned out as well. Dustin Campbell showed himself to be very, very strong on that. And there you go. Blue side scaling. Cassiopeia is up, and Leggy's taking it.
Okay, so the spicy thing is I really like watching Draymond play because he's also a pretty aggressive player. They leave up the Darius. So are they bringing him in because they're like, we got something
We
here.
want to take down the
Dinzbag wants to
Darius.
play Darius, and I would love to see it. That'd be so hype. Like, like everyone talks about like casters talking too much about narrative. Frack it. I want to see the narrative. I want to see this thing become an anime. We had Dinzbags coming with the trash talk. They lose game one. They come back and say, no, I was able to win the champion. If they leave up the Darius and then put a Draymond, come on, this is the anime story we all want.
Oh
so,
yeah, that
so far it's not
Samira,
there.
that Samira pop-off was not even Dinzbag's final form, and we'll see if we get to see it here. As actually, it was the first pick there for Luminex, which is Nautilus, was banned out last time, and so that is going to be an interesting pick. Morgana as well was banned out last time, and that's going to be picked up. So Morgana, probably Morgana Cassiopeia down in the bot lane, AP heavy already. So you're looking for some sort of, the desk mentioned maybe like the Irelia or, some sort of carry like that. The Jax could be coming in here. And mid lane pick has been shown as well. So scaling have the option to take that counter right here.
Yeah, that Cassiopeia Morgana lane is one of the lanes that just doesn't feel fair, right?
Man, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, if you get that grounding, you get the binding, you get kind of everything going, and you just die, right? Like there's like not a whole lot of do that if you get hit by one of those abilities. It makes it feel really bad. We're also looking at Quinn potentially going back on Sejuani duty, which we've seen work out pretty decently for them, and then Hecarim being picked over again by the Dinzbag. So we don't get the Darius right now. We'll see if Scaling decides to ban it out because we don't have the AD carry or top pick still yet picked for the Dinzbag. So that is still potential. The flex for Dinzbag to just go back to his normal role, it's there. The anime story is potentially there. Akali banned out right now for the Dinzbags.
And that's being taken away from Dredgemon. Stefano mentioned that as a potential option. I like how Dustin Campbell goes for Lilia and Hecarim, just the spinny folks.
Just wants horses.
The people who are on horses who spin things around is Dustin Campbell's style in the jungle, and of course move speed, a big part of both of those champions' kits. Banning coming in, Kai'Sa actually taken away from Dins, who has played that in the past. He's definitely, but remember, Darius is still up. So if Scaling choose not to take that one away, here's the Renekton. So actually, this definitely could be a Darius ban coming in from Scaling.
Yeah, we don't want you to pick this Renekton into because why else ban that, right? Like, that from what I can tell, anyway, and maybe again that might be me driving narrative.
Well, they could be taking away from Dredgemon there, but there you go. NASA's taken away from Scoop Lord, and so I don't know, Johnny. I don't know. It could happen. I'm starting to feel it, but Ezreal actually probably means it's Dins because that is a Dinzbag pick right there for sure.
Yeah, fine.
Yep. All right, Dins. All right. He's getting serious on us finally after all these months. But Scaling has their last two picks to take. They're going to have to take top blind here. As well as mid picking into the very safe Orianna for Seafarens. And Orianna had some really, really great shockwaves in team fights last game. So that is, that's a great control mage pick there for Seafarens. And we'll see what Scaling's answer is. They're taking their time here. Yeah, but remember, all they've got is Cassiopeia and Morgana. They need some attack damage here in order to round out their composition.
And considering,
that ain't attack damage.
Again. Yeah, they're going that ain't attack damage. But yeah, they're going for a lot of AP, which to be fair is harder to itemize against than AD is technically, because you could stack a bunch of AP, but so like AD things are so armor things are so core to so many people's builds that it just always feels a little bit awkward. But either way, they picked that. They are going to make the enemy team play a QSS tax or play a cleanse tax, so that's another thing to kind of note there. And we see how well scaling plays when they have multiple layers of CC that they can hit, and with the Samira being out of there and no longer a Braum in this game either. Like, you don't have that stuff that just blocks all your CC abilities that really led to Dinzbags to be able to do their
Oh.
thing. And now we're seeing for their AD damage, we're seeing the Quinn being picked over on the other side. So we'll see what Draymond's gonna be able to do with that
Yeah,
one.
that is Draymond coming in hot to this series here, going to try and take on that top lane, whoever it may be. But Dinzbags on red side have been able to get the counter pick, and they go with the Shen. So that is going to be the global presence. But you are opening yourself up a little bit to the Quinn carry, and Quinn can have as much, if not more, map presence as Shen. Here on that with that ultimate there. So that is this is a spicy composition right here from scaling. Only Sejuani here for the front line, but lots of crowd control and lots of damage.
Yeah, I personally kind of favor Dinzbags' composition here a little bit. Again, I think I've said that for all three
Yep.
games now, but scaling are just that good that
Yeah.
potentially they can kind of win over that.
Yeah.
And right now, yeah, they're putting a lot of eggs into that leggy basket this time, but this time Draymond's here to potentially help with that damage. I believe that's why they subbed him in, so
Yep.
they can have someone else that can actually be a second threat for them. So we'll see how that goes. Let's turn it over towards the analyst desk. They'll talk about this draft before we get into the game.
All right.
Thank you, Wes and Johnny. Stefano,
Hmm.
do you think that Dinzbags did a good job of drafting on the fly?
I actually do. I think that Dinsbag had an amazing draft on this game. I think that even though scaling, they obviously hedged the Quinn in order to maybe try to disincentivize or to have that hard counter rather for the Darius if they did end up going with the Darius, but they don't. And even though Quinn is more damage, Quinn is also not at all more damage at the same time because most of the meta Quinn builds, or meta, I should say in quotation marks, involve building lethality. And lethality is not going to do it against a team that has the Shen, that has the Hecarim, that has the Nautilus. Even Ezreal could go Frozen Fist. So I think Quinn might have, depending on her build, might have a very difficult time and dealing damage. So despite the illusion of her being a damage champion, she's not going to do a lot in this game besides pushing waves. I think that they picked the Quinn to hedge against the Darius, but the Darius didn't come out. So the Quinn is likely, if Quinn doesn't get ahead early, Quinn is going to be very useless this game. This was a great draft by Dinzbags, baiting scaling to picking a counter to Darius, then not even picking the Darius. It was absolutely phenomenal by Dinzbags.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they locked in the Quinn without seeing the top lane on the Dinsbag side, and obviously, the fact that Dinsbag had the final pick, they drafted really well around that, um, because like you say, now there is uh, a potential weak spot on their team. But of course, as Wes and Johnny said, they're throwing their all the eggs in the leggy basket. Um, with that Cassiopeia again in the bot lane. Um, it looks like Dinsbags has a very traditional team comp here as well, right? They have really good initiation. They have peel. They have disengage. They kind of got everything on their side. Um,
Yeah, and I do want to touch on the Cassiopeia
mm,
doesn't have necessarily a lot of appeal. I think that they're against a Hecarim, Oriana, Shen, even a Nautilus
hmm
that is so much dive. Like yes, you have the Black Shield, yes, you have the ultimate for Malzahar, but that is still a lot of dive coming at you and not a lot of individual peel. So I think a lot of it is going to be on Leggy. I think all your eggs in one basket is a great analogy because if Leggy cannot position to a point where he's not being like he doesn't even have to be killed immediately in the first like wave of the dive is if he gets pushed out they still lose the fight, so it's going to be all on Leggy to make sure he's in a position where he can deal damage super effectively and consistently while simultaneously not being pushed out.
Yeah, and there's just so much CC on the side of Dinsbags. Nautilus ult going on Cassiopeia, followed by a Hecarim ult and a Shen taunt or something like. Potentially, Leggy will be dead before the fight even starts, right? So We'll see what happens. We'll see if Dinzbags can keep the team together and not get caught out time and time again, like we saw last game, even though they were ahead. And we'll see if Dinzbags can take this game away from scaling, or we'll see if we'll go the other way. We're going to take a competitive integrity break for just a few minutes. Stick with us. Remember, follow us on all the socials. Be active in the chat, and you might win a prize, friends. We'll be back soon.
So, I'm not sure why,
Okay.
but I have a huge craving for chicken wings now.
Oh man, yeah, just out of nowhere, eh?
Don't know.
I wonder what it would
I
be.
have
I
no
wonder what that
idea.
could be.
That's weird. What a weird
Yeah.
development.
You know, Leggy might be somebody to ask about that. I heard one time that, you know, he also has some sort of affinity for chicken wings.
Maybe that's a theory potentially, but we don't know.
You know, I wonder
definitively
what
yet.
kind he would like.
I'm not sure.
Not
I think
sure
the
either.
chat will figure it out.
Maybe the chat will be able to tell us. Anyway,
all right. On to this
game three. Game three, 1-1 here. Two, you know, kind of pop-off games from the bot laners, but it was all Scoop Lord all day last game. Now he's been put on Shen duty up against the sub Draymond coming in on the Quinn to, you know, inject some firepower into the top side of the map. And look at this invade, Johnny. Here is Dinzbags coming into the bush, but looks like Scaling was ready for this path, and they've escaped. Just the ward here coming in. That's the only advantage gained there by Dinzbags.
Yeah, they'll get that down there, so they'll kind of know where the jungler's starting, which is, you know, small advantage. So almost arguably is almost better than First Blood, like off the river. Sometimes I actually think that the information you
it
can
can
get
be
from
for
these,
sure.
something like you saw last game where that first kill didn't matter, right? Like essentially in the long run, the first kill in the river honestly doesn't always matter as much as at least at this level.
Yeah, I mean,
You've seen pros where they just win the game from there. But.
Just like you said, Scoop Lord got killed first blood in the river,
and
yep, that's you saw what happened there. So,
yeah,
Vision really good, especially against Quinn, who is such a menace in the jungle, always coming in where you don't expect and getting so many successful ganks. And we saw, you know, we want them to play through bot lane. We know what Leggy can do on this Cassiopeia, but there's so much damage here. And actually, you know, I'm somewhat worried about late game damage for Dinzbags. It's the Ezreal who can be a hyper carry, but of course with the big front line of Quinn, maybe being able to block that, and the only other full damage, you know, character being Orianna, there is the potential for them to kind of run out of steam in team fights when they're up against that, you know, that machine gun Cassiopeia, as well as, you know, the Quinn getting that solo lane experience.
That's where the question mark ping comes a little bit from me from the draft. They had the opportunity to counter pick on towards this top lane and decided to just pick up a Shen, which I guess the argument is, hey, last time they played Cassiopeia, it snowballed like crazy in the bot lane. We need some way to help Dinzbags in this bot lane over there, and that's one of the easiest ways is just to be Shen. But to be fair, a lot of those advantages that they had in that first game that snowball were people turning level 6. So it can't help you now, and potentially, like, yeah, you're talking about crazy late game. Dinzbags could still do it. Ezreal scales super well. You could build defensive items and you just do infinite damage and you can't be killed. So we'll see kind of that. It's again this whole game. If anyone was wondering, it's all tracked bot lane.
Yes,
who's
exactly.
Kind of like winning in that matchup, and we saw basically game 1 goes to scaling. They got the matchup win there, and game 2 went to Dinzbags because they won the matchup there. So we'll see. Keep watching it here. Also to note, like, the call for Dinzbags, like really looking to try to get an advantage and scale and get all those items in as soon as possible, because on not even necessarily 2 items, but on like Mana, Mune, and Sheen, you're pretty good on Ezreal at that point. Like through the rest of the game, if you're not super behind, you're pretty happy for the rest of that one.
Lord might get caught out here.
Campbell over here, actually just runs by him because of a little bit of the drive by over there.
Yeah,
and he's able to get away.
Draymond was up there to kind of provide some support there. Yeah, you know, kind of building on that point about the bot lane. Dinzbag in particular, his positioning is going to be so key here because he needs to be able to apply enough damage in these team fights with those Qs, but he also needs to stay away from the Malzahar and the Sejuani. If he gets caught there and he gets taken out, there just is not going to be enough damage on the Dinzbag side in order to, you know, finish off these sort of a little bit more bruisey characters. Now here's a gank in the mid lane.
Dustin Campbell coming over to Pukul. We're gonna try to take him down. Got him down to 100 health here. One more attack will do it, and that finishes him off. Dustin Campbell with first blood.
And Pukelord not even opting to use the flash. He knows that with Seafarents having flash available as well, he just wasn't going to get out. Just overextended there for the Pukelord. Good job by Dustin Campbell to capitalize. But that's kind of all you want to say about that play. You can see Draymond kind of getting some nice harass there onto the Shen, but nothing else really crazy besides that mid lane kill there.
And we're seeing a really good advantage right now taken by Dustin Campbell. They have the farm lead and now that kill. So Quinn hasn't even really visited for a real gank anywhere yet. So it's like you're just kind of behind on tempo, trying to farm things up here. And Dustin Campbell's just doing a great job putting a really, really good performance in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's the power. It's exactly like you said, Johnny, about that info they got at the beginning of the game. It just, Dustin Campbell with all that info he had, even though there was a ward near the Wraiths, or the Raptors, pardon me, I'm stuck in season 6 or whatever that was. Near the Raptors, there was a ward as well, trying to spot out Dustin Campbell, but they didn't go in all the way to the jungle. They didn't get quite as much info. Dustin Campbell was able to use that to track the path, to get that fight, and to get the gank.
Decent amount of damage being applied on Dinzbags right now. And that's why I said, like if you think about the goal difference right now, Quinn just turned 4, but for a second there, it was 2 levels different. Got the kill and got a bunch of gold. Like I was saying, sometimes that vision is seriously better than just getting a kill in the river, because now you got all of that, and you eventually got the kill anyway, and some of this gold, and you put someone else behind. Like, it's actually like super underrated. Like it sometimes doesn't matter much in solo queue because they're just not as organized, but obviously in this kind of organized level of play, it is a big difference. And right now, Dustin Campbell is doing a very, very good job using that, still with a 16 CS lead, and of course that kill.
Yeah, look at the Pukelord, though, in the mid lane up against Seafarents, and look at the farm lead he's got. He's going 49 to 33, 34 there, and yeah, he's over a wave ahead even once Orianna finishes this one off. And that's really good, especially because he got killed. Somehow he had the wave in the right position there. And so that Malzahar is going to be a bit of a problem because it's such an easy kill, that combination with Malzahar and Sejuani at level 6. And Seafarents is just going to have to play so far back because of that combo. Otherwise, the Pukelord, in his own right on Malzahar can do some crazy late game damage to these tanks with the build he will go for and with that damage over time. So you got to be watching out for the Pukelord here because that is a substantial lane lead even after being killed. Worrying there for Dinzbags. Maybe Dustin Campbell will have to focus there some of his efforts as well to stop that.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the tier build with Orianna. Obviously, you just have no power right now. You have no wave clear, which is a big thing. It's not even about trying to necessarily get a kill. But speaking of getting a kill, Draymond's made their way over here, but wisely Seafarents is already backed up from it. But so yeah, like while the late game wave clear for Orianna is superb, the early game it's not very good, and then you bought a tier already, so it's really, really not very good versus a champion whose early wave clear is probably
amazing.
The best in the game, right? So that's where that is. Draymond's make their way back towards top lane. It's Quinn's over here too as well. He's gonna knock up Scoop Lords, forcing them to flash away. So that's Summer spell down. They do have teleport back to the lane.
Draymond is actually nuts already. Like, look at that. 43 to 33 CS, and he showed up in mid lane from the bot side. He pathed towards Dragon, and then Kate went for the gank, then went back up to top, got the flash from the top laner, and, he's extending his CS lead now. So Draymond, you can see exactly why they put this substitution in. They want that, like I said, firepower, aggressiveness, and pop-off potential there from Draymond in the top lane, and so far they're getting it. Even without any kills, Draymond is making his presence known on the map.
And you kind of see that in pro play. You're seeing that here, where like basically just being a weak side top laner isn't good enough anymore. Like it used to just be like play Maokai and exist. Now it's like no, you have to have a lot of impact in the game. They sub Draymond in to be someone to have more impact, and that's exactly what's happening. And the other thing to note too is that Scoop is forced to buy armor into this matchup, just so the matchup isn't as bad as it possibly could be. But then all the main damage is AP.
Exactly.
So by the late game, Scoop is gonna be ultimating in, isn't necessarily gonna have as much tankiness against the real carry and Leggy. Later.
And Pukelord as well. He's just going to get absolutely burned down without being able to itemize into magic resist, especially if a fight happens, let's say around this first Cloud Drake here. That is going to be a big advantage going over towards scaling. And, you know, I really like the way they're playing this. Draymond seems so far, I don't want to speak too soon, but seems like a really good answer to the problems they were having up against Scoop Lord, because the Coop, while he's a very solid laner, you know, it's like you say, weak side sometimes just isn't good enough. And, you know, going on to Ornn duty, you don't have enough pressure to stop the Nasus or to stop the Global from coming in. So I really like this substitution. Just, you know, Draymond, whether he's a better player or not, doesn't matter. It's the style matchup that you're going for. And Draymond definitely is fulfilling that so far. Dragon going to be taken down here, and Dustin Campbell is nowhere near in position to contest. So that's going to go over for free towards scaling.
Yeah, and it's just the one Cloud Drake gives you 10% TDR on your ultimate only, so like people's ults come up like 3 to 6 seconds sooner. Like it's never enough to be able to do it twice in a fight, right?
You start to notice it on someone like a Malzahar or Sejuani, because those are so high impact ults, and like let's say you blow a flash and then you want to use it again.
But you're never gonna get it twice in a fight.
Nope, absolutely
not.
Nope.
So it doesn't it's basically doesn't matter. Like yes, there's those times where 3 seconds does make a difference, but like
it's unlikely to make a big difference. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like the only time that ultimate cooldown really does sort of really start to be effective is when you're sort of stacking ult cooldowns. Let's say you've got Ultimate Hunter on like Fiddlesticks and you get a bunch of Cloud Drakes when it's Cloud Soul. Then you start to notice, ooh, I have actually been able to use my Crowstorm twice in this fight.
That's wild.
But you know, that's not going to be the situation here.
No, yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's why kind of sometimes when you see the first 2 dragons, they have like you see that the second dragon and you haven't had Cloud yet, you almost want to give it up because you're like, hey, depending on your team comp, stacking 4 Cloud dragons.
Yep, exactly. Really cool.
But here comes Dustin Campbell getting caught up here. You only need the ult once right now, but they do have the cleanse to kind of get out of that, so they're walking through this over here. Now they're continuing this fight. Taunted up is Alex Dirty, but they flash back in to continue this fight. Dustin Campbell goes down. What an aggressive play. It leads to Draymond picking up their first kill of the game.
Now, Alex Dirty tried to flash to get the stun on both with the chains, and he only got 1. That could have been 2 kills, but still nice play there by Alex Dirty to roam up and get scaling into the lead here. There's a replay, but live we've got another fight coming on. Both of these plays are important, but you know, that catch came in, and Leggy actually might have bitten off more than he can chew here.
Leggy fighting him off through one. Oh, Dinzbags with a nice Q there. Luminex is going to flash back in. It's going to slow him down. Dinzbags is going to pick out that kill. Here comes the teleport from Puke Lord, wanting to deal with Dinzbags right now. He's able to kind of move. What a good kite, but it's not going to be enough. Puke Lord does get the kill. It does trade back over towards Luminex. So kind of overall, more goes over to kind of the Dinzbags as they get 2 kills to the 1.
Yeah, Leggy, absolute nerves of steel, walks up again to bait into that teleport. And unfortunately, the Puke Lord kind of got caught out while he was TPing, and wasn't full HP when he got there. And so that's why Luminex was able to end up finishing off that Malzahar. But still, I love the gumption there from Leggy to be like, oh, you think I'm backing off? No, I'm walking forward with 20 HP. Really, really fun play there to see Leggy sacrificing himself to go for that. Unfortunate, the Puke Lord, like I said, took some damage. But still, yeah, like you say, Dinzbags coming out in favor there. And Drejmon with the biggest lane lead so far. You can see that big CS lead.
And what's kind of nice too is that like both these bot laners love to limit test, and that's what making it really exciting for all of us to watch the best of 5. And love that it's not a 3-0 or something. We're just seeing an ultimate from Puke Lord on top of Seafarens, who does eventually kind of get out of that. No follow-up from that ultimate really available. Alex 30 does get a Q onto Dustin Campbell. Ultimate comes through from Seafarens, but it does whiff. But it's pretty much just the zoning ultimate there, and make sure Puke Lord can't really follow up anything.
Yeah, Puke Lord actually had his passive come up, and that's what blocked it. The ultimate wouldn't have missed, so that's a really key thing, and it can happen with Malzahar, where you sort of get a lucky cooldown there. Puke Lord surely is watching that timer, but still, you got to say that you can't calculate that to the second like that. But yep, that does manage to blow a cooldown there for Seafarens. So one of the powerful parts, one of the reasons that Malzahar started to come back into favor a couple seasons ago was that exactly that passive, where you can be way safer than like it feels like you can, because you're immune to that crowd control at first in the fight. But yeah, nothing coming through there. The ultimate came in, and Dustin Campbell came up to sort of dissuade Alex Dirty from getting too far into that fight. So nobody really blowing too much there. And look, there's a late cull actually bought from Leggy. So Going for a little bit of attack damage there on the Cassiopeia, and and going to get that gold once that's stacked up. Leggy, very fast farmer, CS per minute very high in every game, and you know, there you go. Interesting. I don't think I've literally ever seen somebody build Cull on Cassiopeia, but
also when you already have 100 CS.
Yeah.
Well,
very unusual.
It's sort of like a free kill later, right? That's basically why people build it in general. Building it late is just an interesting thing because the impact it has finishing it at 14 minutes is bigger than the impact it has finishing it at 28 minutes or whatever it's going to be done by. And it'll probably be done at 20 minutes, to be honest, because they do start ramping up how fast they can get CS at this point. Once they kind of end the early lane phase. But anyway, enough about that. Scaling over here looks to get this dragon. They'll get the second one here. It'll be very interesting to see what the soul is. It is going to be a very high valuable soul no matter what it is.
Mountain.
So it will be Mountain. Mountain's a very good one. Just gives you that kind of extra attackness, especially when the other team already has an awkward damage profile.
Yes.
That's going to make it so that, like, if they can get that, Dinzbags not going to be able to do a whole lot.
Yeah, Dinzbags are head in their hands right now. Mountain Soul would be devastating on scaling because their weakness right now is sort of a lack of frontline. Here's an ult coming in. Ooh.
Yeah, and a second ult coming in now, too, from Quinn. Big Shockwave does try to get them to get off of him, but it won't be enough. Seafarens eventually goes that. To note, did have the cleanse early, but Seafarens, I just didn't think they needed to use it until they saw Quinn come by and were like, oh, okay, well, crap, I need to get out of here. But by then it was too late.
Well, they cleansed once the Sejuani ultimate hit, so I think that might have been calculated from Seafarens to cleanse only after the Sejuani ult used you know, his ult there. Not sure. We could maybe talk to him about that after, but yeah, maybe you would have been able to get out of range. A lot of ways that could have gone, but even with a nice ultimate there, Seafarens still goes down to the Voidlings. So that is the Puke Lord securing another kill, 150 gold bounty there on the Puke Lord's head, and the Luden's Echo finished off. I'm surprised to see this. This isn't the build well, it's not the build I go, for instance, when I play Malzahar, although people are a much better player than me. But I've seen Lost Chapter straight into the core of Leandri's and Riley's. That's what I would have expected, going for that burst instead. And so we'll see if that does pay off in these team fights here.
Yeah, and it's not like he's not going to build Leandri's anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's
like
next.
In the late game, it kind of just ends up not mattering as much. But it is just like, for the right now, it's a little bit more damage. Meanwhile, Dinzbags not respecting the ultimate from Leggy. He's going to throw them all up. He's also grounded, so he can't even E away right now. He gets taken out. Draymond picking that one up, but does get it end up trading as Dustin Campbell has made their way over here too as well. They're going to pick up a kill here. Scoop Lord now gets a little bit low after they've taken out Leggy, but it's a 2-for-1. Dinzbags coming out on top.
Yeah, good play there by the Dinzbags to end up turning that. But here, after the replay, we got a fight coming in.
Yeah, Puke Lord used their ultimate. Nice shockwave's going to hit over there. Dustin Campbell's going to pick up another kill for themselves. Draymond does trade that one back. So in the long run, it's a 3-for-2. Still slightly in favor of Dinzbags. And we're just seeing lots of action right now. And still not a clear winner right now.
Yeah, these teams like to put Kieran in awkward positions. Kieran, our illustrious host and observer, who is trying to get this amazing replay function rolling, and then they start a fight right as it starts to go. Shout out to Kieran for pretty much every single amazing piece of production you've seen so far has been his doing. I just want to give him a real quick shout out there. And, you know, so awesome to have these replays available for us to watch. And the stream looks super, super smooth. But the players are not cooperating quite as much, and they want to do fights at awkward timings.
It's a turn-based game. After you do an action, we should pause.
Yeah, give us some time. We got to analyze that fight. Yeah.
No, but you love to see it though. Honestly, both these teams, like we're sitting now at a situation where it's basically a pseudo best of 3 now left as they traded wins, and they're going for it because this game 3 is important. Ooh, speaking of going for it, Seafarens hits a nice little shockwave there. Fortunately, no availability to follow up, but does prevent them from kind of pushing in onto him.
Yeah, good flash there by Seafarens, but did have to use that, and so that's going to be down for the Puke Lord to have some, you know, that there's some vulnerability now for that Orianna, and Alex Dirty doing a nice job of roaming, and Draymond's really putting this on his back in a lot of cases here. Yeah, 3-1-0. He is everywhere on the map, still well ahead of Shen in farm, and yeah, Draymond really showing exactly why he has been subbed in this game. This style is just not something that the Coop is, it
not
does. He doesn't
Yeah.
fill that role in this team. So here comes the kill onto
Draymond
Shin.
wanted to get another one here on Scoop Lord. A couple auto attacks will do it. The stun is there. Draymond will pick up another one, and that's another big kill. And the crazy thing to note is that the goal is like even for the teams. That last kill, just putting it over the top for scaling. But we're seeing a 4-1 Quinn with 30, 40 CS over their opponent. Like they, all the gold right now is just sitting on this Quinn player, and they're doing a real good job with it.
Yeah, this is the value of, a more than 5-person roster coming in on these teams. And you can see that Dinzbags are not prepared for this Quinn pick at all. They're not prepared for that top lane switch, and that just, I think is a really good thing for, teams who are watching this and thinking about future seasons. The value of having a player on your roster at the beginning of the season who can be subbed in these key situations is super important. Hang on, here's the fight coming in.
Got on top of Dinzbags, who's currently grounded, still can't kind of get away. Does actually manage to live in the long one, but there's a big kill by Leggy to start off this fight. They're continuing with Ford. Trying to go front the back. Luminix is going to secure that one, but a couple kills to go over the Scoop Lord. They're trying to turn around now. See Farron's going to get another one. To get another ace going for Dinzbags. Huge win. Giant damage put together by C Farron's in this fight. Let's watch it again.
Look at that shockwave. We are waiting for them to group up. See, Ference holds his ground and saves it. It looks like it's going into the favor of scaling here, but they all group up, and look at this 4-person shockwave coming in. It is just so sick from C Ference, and they take that one away. They get it right into a dragon. That's going to be the first Mountain Drake, and C Ference absolutely styled on scaling in that fight.
And the big thing to note is that they tried so hard to get Dinzbag down, and they looked like they were. I was calling it as if Dinzbag was going to be killed, but they managed to live and then get out of there and deal just enough damage to continue to be relevant. And like you said, gigantic shockwave from C Ference does clean that one up, and that's a big team fight win from Dinzbags. Now, while it's still not clear to me who's winning this game, momentum fully on Dinzbag's side, and we'll have to kind of see what they do with it.
Yeah, Dinzbag's a very momentum-based, very emotional team, and I think that this kind of fight where, not only do they win the fight, but they get like a real sick-looking play like that. Like I think that really affects them positively. With Dinzbag, you could argue it may not always affect him positively, as it causes him to take certain actions.
Honestly, I think Dinzbag plays the same no matter what.
Yeah, I don't know how much that's affecting him. That's a very, very good point.
I actually don't even think that the emotions affected. He's just always going ham, no matter
his actions
what,
are not affected by his mental state, because that's his secret captain. He's always inting. I don't know. He's always strategically inting, and definitely has worked out in his favor. And in that fight, there you go, Dinzbag, where I talked about how he needed to position well, and in that fight he completely did, getting that damage down so that the Orianna Shockwave could have even more team fight winning capabilities. Now it is Dinzbags with 11 kills with a less than 1,000 gold lead here, but having taken a dragon and starting to turn this one around. Still no outer towers taken though, so scaling do have that map control advantage.
Yeah, and all the gold is available on the map for them to eventually get. One thing I would like to note is that Dinzbag did not grab the Iceborne Gauntlet, which I probably would have liked, because that would have made it really hard for Quinn to kill you. Like everyone else can still kind of kill you. You still need a QSS so you don't just get completely destroyed by Pugilord, I would imagine. But again, that kind of just goes back to Dinzbag's style. Like, why would he build a defensive item, right?
Yeah, what am I, a tank?
Yeah.
The other thing to note, though, is as we talked about the damage profile, it doesn't, Dinzbag is responsible for a lot of damage here, and so going for Trinity Force is just a little bit more damage. Draymond might be caught.
Draymond in trouble here. Well, you are doing so well in this game, but this...
No!
Do you outplay this? Both flashes from Scoop Lord and Draymond are through. Scoop Lord can't...
Not a freaking chance he gets out. Oh,
wow,
my God.
Draymond getting that one down. Meanwhile, Leggy's now into a little bit of trouble there. Dinzbags picks up the kill. He's like, this is why I don't build defensive items. I'll just kill them. And Dinzbags picks up a kill down there.
You have got to be kidding me, Draymond. That's the craziest margin I've ever seen for escaping in this entire season, I think. That was just so sick. Perfectly holds his abilities. But like you said, Leggy did get caught down on the bot side. Alex Dirty now going to go in with a flash.
And uses the ultimate. Dinzbag able to E away from that, but Draymond is coming and hunting for you. Alex Dirty still right here. It does hit the binding on him. See if the follow-up happens there. Meanwhile, we tune over to what Pugilord is doing down there. We go back to this bot lane fight. Dustin Campbell is here to help Dinzbag, make sure they can't just jump out of him. And yeah, Dinzbags able to get away.
Yeah, there you go. So no harm, no foul in that play. Dragon is up in a minute 27, and we'll see if they are able to set up for that. I'm still sort of reeling from that Draymond escape. Freaking Houdini over here. There's the ultimate from Dinzbag. To check Baron, maybe? Oh, he was trying to clear this wave up here. No, that's... Nope, I don't know. I have no idea why he ulted there. That's very interesting.
For fun.
Yep, just a fun ult. Yeah, he can reduce the cooldown, so yeah,
I haven't hit the
just go for it.
Yeah. Go for it.
The good thing to note is that there is the adaptive helm now completed on Luminex. Very, very high value here against Malzahar and Cassiopeia. In particular, that is going to be that Nautilus is going to be very difficult to kill now, having completed that item. Shen is going to be working towards that as well. I almost guarantee you, with that spectral Spectre's cowl there, that's going towards the adaptive helm as well. I keep wanting to say abyssal mask, but it's adaptive helm, and it's a super high value item here. I wouldn't even be surprised if you saw it on the likes of Dustin Campbell as well. Going to reduce a lot of damage. Puke Lord getting ulted.
Dragon fight here. Black Shield is on Puke Lord, so not affected by that. Does take a Q though. AD still definitely affects you. Ultimate also going to poke out more exclusively here. Potentially seeing a big fight here. This one feels real important. We'll see what happens here. Luminix starts to engage. They're fighting it now. Do track the Dinzbags. See where they kind of go on this one. Ultimate does come down from Pukler to try to lock someone down, but
he's already dead.
Will pick up the first kill there. They'll continue going forward. So many people are low, but Oriana's going to be able to trade one more kill there. It's going back and forth a little bit, but now Scaling's got a little bit of advantage here, but Dinzbags picks up a double kill. It's now 3 for 2 as this one keeps going on here. They're so low. Everyone's so low. Seafarens finish this off. Triple kill comes through for Puke Lord, but it's not enough as Seafaren, Scoop Lord are still standing.
How is that possible? Dinzbags absolutely outplayed the hell out of them in that fight. You see the ult come in, and Leggy somehow got himself way up in the front there, and this damage went down, and every member is so low, but you can see there's Dinzbag going up. He does get the double kill before he goes down, and now Seafaren's at full HP, red buff active, starts to get those auto attacks down, and the Puke Lord goes down, the taunt comes in, Seafaren's absolutely just killed them in that team fight, and yeah, Dinzbags just in general played so well, but I've got to question Leggy's positioning. I'm just not sure how he ended up so far forward there. Maybe tried to flash in for some sort of big ult and tried to get everybody stunned, but I guess they all had managed to turn away. I'm like, I want to see that replay again. We'll have to go back to it at the end of the game, but man, sick play there at Dinzbags, just taking advantage there of that team fight, getting a second dragon. So that is a serious lead now. 2,500 gold up for Dinzbags. They have control here.
And you're seeing the phase rush value for Seafarens right now.
Yes.
Able to kind of reposition the fight. We talked about it before with Cassiopeia, and we were talking about Cloud Soul and how that affects just being able to reposition that. It's really important for Oriana too, because their auto attacks are a huge part of kind of the fight. They're not just the damage from the Q and the ultimate. So Seafarens playing a masterclass right now in Oriana. We talk so much about the bot lane, and their solo lanes keep trying to remind us that they're there. Meanwhile, playing solo lanes, Puke Lord does get an ultimate onto Seafarens, who does eventually kind of flash away from that. Does still have cleanse available, but was able to kind of tank all of that and be able to get through.
Yeah, Leggy a little short on the miasma there. Didn't quite get it down onto the Oriana and prevent the flash, and so that meant Seafarens could flash instantly once that Malzahar ultimate ran out of time. So just Leggy had to step up a little bit sooner, or a little bit further there. Misjudged the range there, like you say, you always say, Johnny, and it's always true. It can happen to anyone. That's just a little bit of a misplay there. But they are going to continue pushing down. So Draymond still applying pressure. Very good in the 1v1, but you saw in that last fight, not the most value ADC in a team fight. You really don't have that crazy carry damage in a front-to-back team fight there. So that Draymond has to make more. Here's the ultimate.
Campbell going in, tanking as much as they possibly can. Look at the 80 carries trying to put on some damage here. Leggy, though, is putting on so much damage for themselves. They got 2 kills already. They continue pushing it forward. They do got to try to one more, but there goes down Dinzbags. He's taken out 3 for 1 in favor of Scaling. And when everything seems to finally be going Dinzbags' way, Scaling take this huge fight.
Yeah, you can see what happens in a team fight here when Leggy goes untouched, just able to machine gun from the back line. This time, Quinn was able to take the brunt of the damage and was able to allow the high damage carries from Scaling to do their work. And that's just what happened there. I have to say, like, that previous team fight was just pretty much completely down to the misposition by Leggy. Now we just saw a team fight where you can see exactly what happens when Leggy positions perfectly the way he normally does. And there you go. It turns into a Baron, easy Baron there for Scaling. They have a very fast Baron with this team, and they're going to use that to retake the gold lead and retake map control here.
Yeah, swingy game now in favor of Scaling as they kind of continue this forward here with the Baron buff. See where they kind of push out. We do see that Draymond is towards the bot lane, going to finally try to finish off that tier 1 bot lane turret. And that split push is going to be very, very potentially relevant over here. So we'll see what's going to kind of continue to happen. So they're all positioning now over here towards the bot lane. See if they want to try to answer this push right now for Draymond, but he'll likely just kind of get this tower before they even get too much there.
Yeah, Draymond applying pressure down there, and he actually does have to back off, so they just save that tower. But, you know, the pressure of this Quinn, you know, is just always going to be a problem here. And it's so funny how different this is from the Nasus, but how, you know, similar the pressure is that gets applied. Here it comes the ultimate.
Ooh, Puke Lord using the blast code. Really want to make a play over here on top of Dustin Campbell. Ultimate comes in from Quinn to try to follow it up, but Puke Lord gets blown up eventually. Dustin Campbell with the shutdown. Fight goes over on. They're going to get on top of the Quinn now. They're going to try to blow that up. That's going to be 2 down. They continue to move forward. They have everyone here available for this fight. Dustin Campbell does go down, but they're going to continue fighting and taking them down. Dinzbags picks up another one. Only one left. Ace comes through. Huge win once again now for Dinzbags.
Here's the replay, and you can see Leggy's available to do damage on the backline, but the rest of Scaling just going a bridge too far there, and it's only the Shen. Leggy trying to get forward and get the other carries, but it just isn't quite enough damage there with all the shields that come through. And yeah, nice job by Scoop Lord to zone out the Cassiopeia, gets them that fight, and yeah, that's just a serious overextension from the Puke Lord there. It cost them a lot too. Dinzbag's going to be able to get over on Soul Point. That's the 3rd Mountain Drake that they're going to take right here, and that's a lot of defensive stats, Johnny, up against this high damage team. They are getting more and more capable of surviving long enough for Dinzbag to do his work in that backline. So yeah, the Puke Lord just an overextension there. And yeah, the thing to note about this is that even though Dinzbags are having these nice fights, these are just mistakes from Scaling that are opening this up, and the Puke Lord was one there. Leggy in the fight a little bit before. You know, if they don't make those mistakes, they still have a much higher damage team. They still have frontline available and pick potential available. They still have a split pusher. I still got to give it to Scaling in terms of who's going to like take this game. We do have a pause here, as looks like Scoop Lord may have some tech issues, and we're just going to check in on that. But I can't count out Scaling in this game, even though Dinzbags is looking good in these fights.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane, and maybe the Dragon RNG kind of just working on in favor of Dinzbags here. Like I said, sometimes like we were talking about Cloud Soul then, but sometimes it's you give up those first 2 dragons, and stacking 4 of 1 dragon feels just way better a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
Than having a grab bag, because and it ends up being exactly what Dinzbags needs, because they kind of have this composition that could have been torn apart by Draymond coming in, because they have to kind of itemize for magic damage because of what's kind of going on the other side. But Draymond could have eventually came in and done all the AD that they needed. But now these kind of make Draymond a little irrelevant, because he can't just burst through someone like he was probably hoping he'd be able to doing that with the Ignite and trying to get that. And then we saw a big lead. In fact, he's almost on his way to Flame Horizoning his opponent, and it still might not be enough because of these dragons being stacked by the Dinzbags.
Yeah, absolutely. Only the Bramble Vest has been built so far by Scoop Lord, and Draymond still just isn't going to be able to get through him because of, like you say, those Mountain Drakes stacking up that armor and empowering his defensive capabilities. So, you know, you really have to be relying on Leggy in these fights here for Scaling. And, you know, in certain positions you can. We've seen what happens when Leggy is allowed to pop off. But, you know, it doesn't always happen that way. And if Scoop Lord is that strong. Scoop Lord has been so good for Dinzbags in this series already, and showing that he is able to make a big difference on Shen, even if he doesn't have those a million damage Nasus empowered Q attacks that he had last game. Here we are back to live. 1.5k gold lead for Dinzbags. And we're just waiting for the next objective here. Baron up in 2 minutes. There's a lot of time to try to get this map control and fight for vision.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We spent a lot of time talking about how Draymond comes in and switches the style of their top laner, but Scoop Lord goes, "Hey, get you a top laner that can do both."
Yeah,
like
exactly.
In a previous games, obviously he was such a huge carry, but now he's the one playing weak side and then trying to get in with that ultimate. Again, he is really behind though in reality, but he has a shutdown bonus on him. Right?
Yep, that's true.
Imagine being 3-3-15 and an 80 CS behind, and you have a shutdown bonus on you. That's stupid. I kind of sometimes hate when that happens.
Something's going on here with this system.
Something's weird. But yeah, that is there. But he's just being relevant even without the gold, right? And just able to pack that up, just have that adaptive helm, and like you mentioned earlier, and he can split push himself too. Not quite as effective as Draymond can, but can definitely split push and then get back into the fight faster than Draymond can, which is
Now Draymond has completed 2 big crit items. There's the Storm Razor and the Infinity Edge. That Infinity Edge is a huge damage spike, and you're going to see a lot of burst, especially because we've seen Draymond kind of trying to target these squishy carries. There's the flash coming in on Puke Lord.
Luminex to do that, hits the Q to take down the shield, and then use the ultimate right after that, but they're just onto Quinn, who comes in, tanks some damage. They kind of realize they don't really have a tank shredder on their team, so...
Yeah,
really
Draymond was looking for the flank, but it looked like when he realized that they were going to be able to back off, just went back down to bot lane to continue fighting Scoop Lord, who in the 1v1, the Quinn still takes it, I gotta tell you. Scoop Lord, as strong as you are and as well as you've been doing in team fights, you're not beating that Quinn 1v1 unless if something goes terribly wrong for Draymond. So yeah, look at this. Look at that damage coming in.
Just continue to melt you down. Use the Blade of the Rune King active to slow you down, which I'm going to miss, by the way, since that's no longer part of the new items. Just gives up. I go, okay, yeah, you got this, whatever. In a way, though, dying as soon as possible so that you spawn sooner makes sense in its own way. Oh, we might have actually DC'd at that moment, so that's
the kill was secured already with the move speed and the ultimate, but there was a DC, so we may have another pause coming in here. Very unfortunate.
So maybe they're like, he's gonna be back in 50 seconds. Maybe they'll pause if he spawns. But we'll see. We'll find out if that is what happens here. But that only said, he is just dead. DC or not, he's still not here, and they're doing the Baron.
Yeah, that is going to open up the Baron. Like I say, I think we can, with the Scoop Lord's flash not being available there, I think we can pretty safely say he would have died anyway. So that doesn't affect the outcome in any way of the game. But we still do want to make sure we get a pause now so that Scoop Lord can get back in. Unfortunate that these tech issues are coming up. We ran into this as well in both CSGO and Valorant. Unfortunately, we've had some unfortunate luck with our finals in this league, but we will soldier on, and these teams are willing to power through here. So we're just waiting for Scoop Lord to reconnect and maybe stabilize the connection there, and then we'll get back in. But yeah, you can see, like, Scoop Lord was caught out there. The Quinn, is that powerful in a 1v1 with all that crit built up, was able to open up that split push, and the Baron is coming through. So check in on production and see exactly what's going on. But yep, good position here for scaling.
Yeah, Draymond has now completed that Flame Horizon, is also pushing bot while they're just taking this Baron too, so he's actually able to get an inhibitor turret while they were taking that Baron too as well, so that's taken without the Baron buff at that point, so they have that inhibitor open, and now they can go towards that. Leggy and Alex 30 have made their way towards the top lane, and scaling, while we've seen so much of this game, so much of the series has kind of just been like, hey, let's all just go in team fight. Scaling is actually playing a macro game here in this one, which a little bit has not been the series. The name of the series is just about fighting each other, almost LPL style. So it's been exciting to watch. But Scaling right now with very, very good macro in the past couple minutes.
Yep. Definitely Scaling doing well, moving around the map. Like we said, Draymond coming in with a new look for the top lane and opening up that option for that availability of that style. So Scaling making good use of that, but Dinzbags are still keeping it close. Anytime there's a mistake, they are taking advantage of it. Scoopler it looks like he's having some serious connection issues, so we're going to get a pause in, and maybe we'll get it a bit longer so that we can get this worked out. But too bad about this, and we will get to work on it. Just a moment here.
I'll continue to talk while you're looking up stuff. The unfortunate part of that is that you saw the play that Dinzbags was potentially trying to set up here. The dragon is spawning up here. You had the ability to send Scoop Lord over towards the top lane, push in those minions and apply pressure with those minions, and then ult into this fight for this dragon's soul. Or even potentially, if you don't have the angle for this fight, Dinzbags could just be like, all right, cool, you have one Mountain Drake, you can have one, and then Scoop Lord could have continued pushing top since Quinn was kind of just over there in the mid lane. Although does have a very, very, very quick response to eventually get to the top lane. So it's just stuff with minion waves was potentially what's being set up right now for the Dinzbag. So they want to do that, and they're trying to kind of set up that kind of play here. They do want this Dragon Soul, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't int for it because you could just lose the entire game for it. So we'll see where they kind of put their priority once the pause is over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. The Dragon Soul is very dangerous on the side of scaling with the composition they've got. With some issues there. Looks like we might have to go through the rest of this game with sort of periodical pauses, just because Scoop Lord will have to take time in between games to figure this issue out, and it's an unfortunate situation. But the game is too far gone for us to reset. Based on
chrono break over here.
There's no chrono break available, so we're gonna have to power through, and we'll pause every time we can.
They are wanting to fight for this. They're jumping on top of it now. We're getting it right into the middle. Dragon is down to 4,000 health. Alex 30 is down to way less health than that. Quinn's a cranky boy there, taking a ton of damage.
Huge
big ultimate comes in from Leggy to stop all of them, but will it be enough over here? We're seeing 1-for-1 now. Tank down, support down. They're continuing the fight forward. Leggy pops off with a ton more damage. Here's a big ultimate now coming in for Pukelor, who saved it for a long time. Dinzbag now finally taken out. We're seeing this fight continue. Can Leggy take out these people 2v1? Pukelor wants to help, but knows what's going to be blown up as they try to do so. So they're going to be able to take that going. Exactly, though. Draymond decides, I don't need to join that fight. Whatever. I'm going to go win the game. And Pukelor, trying to stop the backs over here, is going to be able to do that. In fact, get a kill for doing it. Draymond just goes in to win the game. Ow! We were just talking about sometimes it's just all about fights, but Draymond goes, I got the macro. Son, splashes the TSM. Game 2-3 win for Scaling.
And Scaling just managed to get that split push going. Dinzbags go for one final fight where Scoop Lord actually does absolutely all he can. No disconnects there, but it was just Leggy being able to stay alive long enough, prevent those recalls long enough. Puke Lord taking down Dinzbag, and the 4v5 is activated. That was Scaling's game through and through, that's for sure, and just a really, really good play there by them. So beautiful work there, in particular from Leggy, and Draymond coming in clutch as the substitute, totally changing the game and catching Dinzbags off guard.
Yeah, we talked about the whole game. That's exactly what they wanted to get out of there. And again, the Coop has played pretty decently, at least in that very first game, and then just kind of tried to survive in that second game. But Draymond just brings you a different look and brings you something that Dinzbags weren't necessarily prepared with. They even had the counter pick for it, and they decide to go with the Shen to hopefully get another lane to win, and it was kind of working. You saw in the actual fight, Dinzbags was winning that last fight. But it doesn't matter when Draymond just comes in and just kills everyone.
Now, I'm calling an audible here on the analyst desk. I think that because we are having these issues, we'll probably just go to a break right now while we give Scoop Lord time to sort out any tech issues that that Scoop Lord is running into. Make sure everybody's stable as we continue on in the series. Scaling are now up 2-1, and we will take a break. Thanks everybody for your patience and for tuning in. And we want to make sure we get the most fair and close games possible in this series. So we're going to go to a break and try to sort out all these issues. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in a few minutes.